All right, Ruthless fans, this will be my review for Season 3, Episode 5, entitled Proving Grounds. And to be honest, if I were Andrew, I'd be like, look, at this point, you either trust me or you don't. How much do I have to do to prove my loyalty to the highest? And let me get the synopsis here. This is Season 3, Episode 5. The highest is paranoid and angry as he attempts to weed out the untrustworthy. To be completely honest, it felt like the episode was almost anything but that, but that's just my opinion. I know it was brought up that the whole Brian thing should be kept under wraps at least until tomorrow due to the fact that tonight is a night of celebration. So basically, remember in episode 4, the big thing was the highest and Ruth being married or to be married. It's a question of, I think Ruth and River even chat about this later on in the episode, about the marriage, like, are they actually married? Will there be a ceremony? I guess the highest, when he invited Ruth to the front and took her hand and, raised into the air, was that like a signal? Obviously, these are not conventional, people and how they do things. So I really don't know what the Raku way or signal of marriage is. So, and it's funny. So the highest actually plays one of his old movies. Probably one of the movies he enjoys watching with River, because remember when River was first introduced, one of their favorite pastimes together was to, be in the highest trailer late at night and watch, old black and white movies and whatnot. So this movie was in various languages, and the highest was telling the members that you almost learn this new language once we get to our new location. It kind of reminded me of the Tower of Babel, so to speak, from the Bible, where, if I remember correctly, everyone pitched in to build a tower that would pretty much reach the heavens, but instead God pretty much, I guess you could say, enabled the people to communicate with each other, at least as one group. So as a result, everybody was speaking in different tongues, and those who spoke in similar tongues pretty much went to different parts of the world. If I remember the Old Testament correctly, this was post the Great Flood. So yeah, I think it was after, Noah's Ark. And as a result, mankind was in one location, and then by cursing them with different tongues, they all, spread out amongst the earth as opposed to stay in one place. So I feel like the same thing is kind of true here, where instead of splitting up, the Rakadusha are still going to be together. They're just going to a new location. So I don't know what language. Was it Mexican? I don't know, but whatever. So, because I took 3 years of, not Mexican, Spanish, I'm sorry. I took 3 years of high school Spanish and I barely remember anything. But in any case, during the movie, the highest calls Ruth to the front, and then, Ruth is, and everybody stands up to honor her. So it's like, oh, wow. And this goes back to Tally saying Ruth just loves power, being close to it. The fact that everybody would be willing to wait hand and foot on her just shows you that, yeah, Ruth, if she had the chance to leave, she would not do it. At least not right away, because she's in this position of power. But then again, I'm not saying that if, Joan and River are like, hey, Ruth, everything is good to go. We got an escape plan. There's going to be a way for us to get out of here. We leave tonight. Would she do it? I don't know. But in any case, everybody stands as she gets up there, and then the highest tells her, well, since you are to be my wife, get used to this kind of attention. And as a result, she's thinking so how would you like to commemorate this? Go back to your trailer and, have sex? No, I would like River sent to my trailer. And I'm like, Tyrone, no disrespect, but send Ruth to my trailer if you don't want her sent to yours. Good Lord. So, during the movie, everybody, on the sidelines, you got River, and then you got Daikon behind him hey, I know your ass supposed to be in that cooler. Don't think I ain't going to put you back in there. I'm not going back to the cooler, Daikon. Yeah, you know what? Well, later on, I want to go to the highest and tell him that you're the one who killed Yancey, and you used the key in order to get into the money safe, and I caught you behind. So after the movie and whatnot, I think River's, walking around the compound, and Daikon kind of presses him up against one of the houses or trailers, and Ruth actually swoops in to save him because, obviously Daikon's probably about to put his ass back in the cooler, but Ruth says, oh, the highest wants to see River at his trailer immediately. And Daikon doesn't want to let him go, but, hey, when the highest calls, the person got to answer. So Daikon, it's funny how he and Ruth Daikon is really in his feelings this episode. That's the best way to put it. He's in his feelings because, you know, he's jealous of the highest. He's jealous that Ruth is marrying him, that kind of stuff. So Daikon is just, you know, like that jock in high school who's mad because, you know, his friend is messing around with the head cheerleader who he thought was hers. I mean, his, that kind of thing. But, you know, he kind of rubs it in Ruth's face like, you know what? You'll never be able to make the highest feel the way I do. I know. And even though I'm going to marry him, just know that I'll still love you. And he goes on to say, and basically this, he and Elder Mother are kind of on the same accord because neither one of them can stand the fact that Ruth is marrying the highest because they've held their positions of power so long, you know, Daikon being the right hand / enforcer of the compound and Elder Mother being, you know, just high ranked. But to see someone like Ruth make it through the ranks so quickly and overpower them to an extent, they just can't stand it because they all have roles to play, and anybody, I guess you could say, trespassing on their territory is a no-no. But Daikon says that despite the fact that Ruth is trying to stroke his ego by telling him what he wants to hear, he doesn't want her help. All he wants is her head. That could be interpreted one of two ways. As Mike Epps said, I was getting some head. I was getting some head. Or are we talking Ruth's head on a platter? So we go over to the punishment trailer, and Brian is able to get Oliver and Lacey out of their cuffs with the knife he had, I think, in his boot or his sock. And he reveals that he's FBI. Obviously, Oliver is like, what? I ain't talking to no feds. So, you know, he's getting us all defensive, where Lacey, you know, understands the circumstance they're in. She is singing like a canary. She goes into detail about, you know, everything involved. Brian says the compound will be swarming with agents by morning, which is weird for him to say that given the fact that Conley supposedly scrambled all the phone calls. If I remember correctly, wasn't he on the phone when I think it was Manny or another one of the Rakadushi soldiers that approached Brian with a gun to his head at the end of episode 3? Oops. If that's the case, then that pretty much debunked the theory video I did before this one about how did Brian call. Oh well, whatever. So actually, let me skip ahead in my notes because we cut back to the punishment trailer scene. So Lacey explains that the recruitment process is pretty much typically the Rakadushi recruit, you know, like housewives who, you know, like drugs and, you know, they're tired of their mundane lifestyle. And what they do is they raid the, you know, their bank accounts, and basically they take all their husband's money, then they give it to the Rakadushi and they become members. And there are a lot of these, I guess you could say, Senate frat parties where, you know, the women are paraded around and they get, you know, passed off and this and that. And, you know, it turns out Brian is aware of who Lilo is as the, you know, senator's son. And this goes a lot deeper than he thought. But he also mentions, hey, have you seen like a 5'5", you know, dark-skinned girl? In regards to Lynn, Oliver hasn't seen her, but, you know, Lacey said that she did see Lynn around before. And also, remember, Lynn wants Daikon to get her, so it looks like she wants to go to the compound as well. But Oliver, who's just had enough of this, mentions the fact, you know, hey, there's cyanide and whatnot in the kitchen, and there are people who are willing to die for the Raku. So, you know, Brian is like freaked out by everything in regards to this. So, getting back on track here. The highest is talking to River in his trailer because remember, after Ruth saved him from Daikon's wrath, he goes straight to the highest trailer. And the highest is very happy due to the fact that River was absolutely right about making Ruth, you know, the wife of the highest, and the fact that all the men are jealous of him. Because remember, River introduced the idea of, you know, men around the compound whispering about how it's strange how the highest is never seen with women, and, you know, it's the hints of, is the highest gay or what's going to happen. It's just one of those weird things that you know, kind of got under the highest skin when he first heard about it. But yeah, so the conversation goes on about how the highest was so happy he wanted River to disrobe, but he's like, no, I think maybe now's the time for you to think about what's going on around the compound. You know, everybody's happy about the marriage and whatnot, everything's going well. And from there, you know, he's like, well, the highest says, you know what, I want to talk with Daikon for now, and later on, River, I want to see you back in the trailer. So Yeah, so River's in a he's in good graces for the time being. So we get a brief scene between Elder Mother and Ruth. Obviously, Elder Mother isn't too pleased about Ruth's ascension, if you will, to being the wife of the highest, despite the fact that she was just made Supreme Mother, and the fact that, all the other women will be taking up Elder Mother's roles, whereas she would just be, regular, I guess you could say, in the kitchen. But Ruth says, hey, I'm going to go to the kitchen to help make punch to not make it seem like I just sit around the trailers doing nothing. And she also has, a plan to talk with Joan in order to protect River. Andrew actually has a couple moments in the episode where he kind of walks off. He walks over to Daikon, who's, kind of on the sidelines because he's pissed off about everything going on. Daikon is just jealous about the situation of Ruth and the highest getting married, and the fact that he's possibly being replaced by River. And Andrew, they talk about the FBI situation and the fact that it isn't a good thing to enrage the highest after a prophecy. Not to mention, Daikon wants to have a private, intimate moment with him tonight, and he doesn't want the highest to be, angry. So he also mentions the fact that Andrew needs to think of a great punishment for Brian, something that's suitable for an FBI agent, basically an agent of the white man's government. So in the midst of Andrew becoming uncomfortable when Daikon is telling him about wanting to have an intimate moment with the highest, River actually pops up to let Daikon know that the highest wants to see him. And Daikon tells River that he's going to tell the highest about what he did. And his quick retort is that, you know what, Daikon, the highest says he doesn't like when you're around because every time you're around, you bring bad news. Boy, I will hit you upside the head with this rock. And I'm just saying to myself, dang, he's going straight up Cain and Abel right here. So it's funny how River is like, kind of brave, got a bit of bravery because how scared he was of Daikon, for the past couple episodes. So we go over to Ruth and Joan in the kitchen making the punch because, with the proposal, everybody's in celebration. So, they're making more punch for, the people to sip on. So Joan is like, so Sister Elder Ruth, this is wonderful. Did you see it coming? But Ruth ain't got time for this shit. Look, I ain't got time for your, your back and forth interrogations. Take these, I believe they are called oxycodone. They were pills. I looked it up. It's a narcotic that can treat moderate to severe pain. There's a high risk of addiction and dependence. So basically, Joan is to put this in the safe in order to save River, which we'll see later on in the episode. So just keep that in mind. Daikon and the highest have a moment in the trailer where the highest makes it clear that you need to thank Ruth and River from talking me off a ledge in regards to not trusting you because, well, hell, remember, he was about to get sliced up before Ruth jumped in to save him in episode 1. But, he makes it clear that, you're highest. I don't want Ruth. I'm just happy that you're happy. Liar. And he goes on to basically deliver all the bad news in regards to Tally got away. We got an FBI agent in the punishment trailer. Yancey's dead. Dale's parents are dead. The sheriff's going to work to cover that up. And, let's see. Missing... Hang on a second. I think I missed something here. I think he lied about Manny being shot. Wasn't Manny one of the people that got shot by Oliver in the tree? And he says that he shot Manny because Manny... What? Not Man. No, it can't be Manny because Manny was walking around. Basically, I think it was a shoulder. Yeah. I think one of the... Oh, yeah. Because I think Manny was the one that sent the soldier out to test Andrew's theory about Oliver being a sniper. So it wasn't Manny, but whatever. Basically, the soldier that got shot, yeah, I was the one that shot him because he was a deserter like the others. So I think Daikon was trying to lie to cover up the full situation and not make it seem that the situation was as worse as it really was. Because, believe it or not, Daikon's losing hold of the compounds. Things are getting worse and worse by the day. Not even by the day, but by the hour when you really think about it. So, after the situation, Ruth is telling River about the pills in the safe. It's like, look, you need to use this as an excuse if Daikon confronts you again. Basically say, look, there are pills that I'm addicted to and they're in the safe, and that's why I try to get into it. So from there, we go over, oh yeah, I actually talked about the punishment trailer scene with Oliver, Lacey, and Brian already. Andrew checks on Daikon again, and he tells him about how he lied to the highest about, you know, how Yancey died and whatnot. And he really wants to find out who stabbed or killed Yancey. I'm like, wait, was he stabbed? I know that Tally, like, drugged his food. I don't remember him being stabbed, or I might be thinking of the Saints and Sinners trailer, because I actually did that video. Oh yeah, I did mine. Oh yeah, I did part of my Ruthless notes and Saints and Sinners notes on the same page. Oops. Basically, he wants to find out what really happened to Yancey. I hate to break it to you, Daikon, but the person who killed him is long gone. Yeah, so he also wants to meet with, actually, Andrew somewhere, I forgot. But River and Daikon are talking yet again, and he mentions the drug habit situation. And he actually goes to the money trailer to kind of harass Joan. And Joan seems a bit aroused by, you know, the way Daikon is kind of, you know, seemingly roughing her up. Not extremely, but, you know, getting loud, putting his hands on her. And he wants the safe open now, but she makes it clear, look, I am not to open that safe without permission from the highest. And Daikon leaves pissed off, but he believes that there are pills in there. It's like, look, I can assure you, sir, there are pills that are in that safe. So Daikon leaves in a huff. And like I said, he's just pissed off most of the episode. Speaking of Manny, he's talking to Zane, basically knowing that you're the one who put Melinda to try to seduce me to get out of here. And you need to get in that box and finish what she started. But because she wasn't doing it right, he tells her to go back to her trailer. That was a pretty, you know, weird scene. But I don't know. Zane is cute, though. Alright, so we go to the last scene here. The highest rolls out of his trailer, and Daikon and Andrew are just standing there. So basically, he tells him, well, he tells Daikon to give him a gun, and look, Andrew, I'm proud of you. You've proven yourself time and time again, and you know, you're not a cop, and sometimes I admit my third eye gets foggy, but in order to prove yourself, and I'm thinking, but why? You just said he already proved himself. Go in there and kill Brian. So that's the episode in itself. I thought the episode was okay. I've seen worse, but it's episode 5, so I'm not expecting every single episode to be a banger. This kind of moved the story along. I'm glad we got a little bit more backstory in regards to, you know, Lacey and her understanding of how things work behind the scenes in the compound. You know, River. I mean, Ruth is literally doing her thing this entire season so far. She's really proving why she's ruthless. There's a lot of deception, people resenting others because of their come up in power versus their reduced power. So pretty good episode. I have very few, if any, complaints. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Yeah, the whole phone scrambling thing, I'm kind of confused by it. So did the sheriff scramble Brian's phone call when he was standing outside of Dale's parents' house? I don't know. But yeah, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit subscribe and hit the bell icon to select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next video.